Putin plans to run for president again, this time with the goal of continuing his nearly 20-year reign. In an announcement that he will almost certainly win the presidential election next March, Vladimir Putin moved on Friday to extend his dictatorial and unyielding control over Russia for at least another 6 years, despite launching an extremely expensive war in Ukraine that has killed thousands of his compatriots, provoked multiple attacks inside Russia, including one on the Kremlin itself, and eroded its aura of invincibility. Putin continues to enjoy widespread support after nearly 25 years. In power, Putin was unharmed by the brief uprising led by mercenary commander Yevgeny Prigozhin in June, which had many worried that he was losing control. The death of Prigozhin in an unexplained plane crash 2 months later further solidified the belief that Putin possessed complete authority. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov described the re-election pleas made by war veterans and others at a Kremlin awards ceremony as spontaneous, but Putin, who was first elected president in March 2000, announced his decision to run in the March 17 presidential election. Putin made his remarks known in a video released by the Kremlin following the event. He acknowledged that he had considered different options over the years, but now he acknowledged that a decision needed to be made. The Russian Federation presidential election is in my future. The announcement was made in a low-key manner instead of a live televised speech, which Tatiana Stanovaya of the Carnegie Russia Eurasia Center pointed out. This likely reflects the Kremlin's attempt to highlight Putin's modesty and his perceived focus on doing his job rather than loud campaigning. It's not about making money, Stanovaya noted, it's about staying alive. The stakes are now at an all-time high. The independent pollster Levada Center reports that nearly 80% of the population is satisfied with Putin's performance. Either sincere support or capitulation to a leader whose repression of dissent has made even moderate criticism dangerous might explain such backing. Putin is anticipated to encounter minimal opposition on the ballot, whether as a result of genuine or forced support. Putin, who is 71 years old, has effectively extended his term in office until he is in his mid-80s by amending the constitution twice. After Stalin's death in 1953, he became the longest-serving leader of the Kremlin, while his close associate Dmitry Medvedev filled in as president in 2008. He remained in charge even though he stepped down to become prime minister owing to term limits. His term as president was later lengthened from 4 to 6 years, and he reset the count for 2 consecutive terms to start in 2024 with a different set of amendments he pushed through 3 years ago. He is afraid to give up power, said Dmitry Orshkin, a political analyst and professor at Free University of Riga, Latvia, in an interview with the Associated Press this year. Perhaps Putin's fear of losing power was at its height when the amendments that granted him 2 additional terms were being considered. His approval rating was much lower, at around 60%, according to Levada polling. Some experts believe that Putin's drop in popularity in February 2022 was a major factor in his decision to launch the war in Ukraine. The war with Ukraine was an essential glue. Abbas Galyamov, a commentator and former speechwriter for Putin who now resides in Israel, stated that he needed to consolidate his power. According to Fiona Hill, a Russian affairs expert and current scholar at the Brookings Institution, Putin believed that a lovely small, victorious war would strengthen his re-election campaign. Hill previously worked for the United States National Security Council.